Hello everyone, welcome to another interesting session on SQL Operators by SimpliCode. Before we get started, if you're new to the channel and want to learn more about latest technologies, consider getting subscribed to our channel SimpliCode. Also, hit that bell icon to never miss an update from us. So without any further ado, let us dive straight into today's topic on SQL Operators. Firstly, let us discuss the agenda for today's session. We'll start the tutorial by understanding what SQL operators are. Then we'll go through different types of SQL operators. And finally, we'll look at the syntax of various operators and execute them in MySQL Workbench. What are SQL operators? SQL operators are basically reserved words or special characters that are used to query a database. SQL provides us with many such operators to ease the process of data manipulation. SQL operators are used to perform various tasks including complex mathematical operations like arithmetic and binary. To query a database using operators, we use a where clause. Operators are necessary to define a condition in SQL as they act as a connector between two or more SQL statements. Based on the operator functionality, it manipulates the data accordingly and gives the result. Types of SQL operators. SQL operators are mainly classified into three types. The first one is arithmetic operators. The arithmetic operators perform the mathematical operation on numerical data of SQL tables. They are further classified as addition operator. The addition operator is used to perform addition on numerical data. Using this, we can add values of single or multiple columns in the table. Subtraction operator. Subtraction operator in SQL performs the subtraction on the numerical data of the database table. Multiplication operator. Multiplication operator in SQL performs multiplication on the data items. In SQL, we can easily multiply the numerical values of two or more columns of the same table by specifying both the column names as the first and second operand. And finally, division operator. Division operator in SQL divides the operand on the left side by the operand on the right side. We can also divide the numerical values of one column by another column of the same table by specifying both column names as the first and second operand. Let us now look at the execution part of the arithmetic operations on MySQL Workbench. As you can see, Workbench has started. But before we proceed to the syntax of SQL operators, we have to first create a database and then we have to create a table within the database. So for time being, I've already created a table named employee. So let us just briefly go through the syntax of create table. So the syntax is followed as create table space. Now you can declare the employee, that is the table name, in two ways. That is, you can directly mention the table name, that is employee, or else you can mention database dot table name, that is employee, and after that in the parenthesis you have to mention the column names followed by its appropriate data types. So as far as this table employee is concerned, I have taken column names as ID, name, age, city and salary, and also I have chosen primary key as ID as it uniquely identifies each and every record in the table. Close the parenthesis and put a semicolon. Now that you have created a table, you have to insert values into the table, and for that we use insert command. So the syntax for insert command is insert into space table name, that is employee, and within the parenthesis you have to mention all the column names that you have taken in the single quotes. After that, close the parenthesis and you have to write values, which is the keyword, and mention different values as per your choice accordingly that you have taken into the columns. So in this way you can insert n number of records into the table using insert command. For this employee table, I have taken out values total of 10 values. Now that you have created and inserted values into your table, and if you want to display all the records of the employees, you have to select the query as select star from the table name, that is employee. And when you execute this, it will show the records of all the employees that you have taken, that is their ID, their name, age, city and salary. So we have taken total 10 values and it will be displayed. Now that we have understood all these, let us proceed with the SQL operators. First, let us look at addition operator. Let us understand this with the help of an example. Suppose you want to add 10,000 to the salary of each employee specified in the table. Then we have to write the query as select salary plus 10,000, as I'm taking a new column, that is employee new salary, to specify all these values into the column as employee new salary from the table name, that is employee. Now when you execute this, it will show the result like this. That is, it will add 10,000 to each and everyone's values. That is, 30,000 has been changed into 40,000, 28,000 has been changed into 38,000 and so on. Now, if I want to display their ID, name, their previous salary and the final salary simultaneously, I'll write the query as select ID, comma, space, name, space, salary, space, salary plus 10,000 as employee, new salary from employee. Now if I execute this, it will display like this. That is, it will mention the ID, name, the previous salary and employee new salary simultaneously. So in this way you can add 2 or more columns in the same table using addition operator. Let us now look at subtraction operator. Subtraction operator is also similar to that of addition operator. The only difference is you have to replace the plus sign with the minus sign. So again, for this example, let us say if you want to subtract 2,000 from salary of each employee given in the employee table, then we have to write the query as select ID, comma space name, comma space salary, comma space salary minus 2,000 as employee new salary from the table, that is employee. So let us execute this and it will show the new values. That is, 2,000 has been deducted from the salaries of each and every employee. As you can see, 30,000 has been reduced to 28,000, 28,000 has been reduced to 26,000, 35,000 has been reduced to 33,000 and so on. So next, let us look at the multiplication operator. Again, let us take the same example. If you want to multiply the salary of each and every employee, then you have to write the query as select ID, name, salary, salary into 2. We are using asterisk operator as the multiplication sign here, as employee new salary from the table name, that is employee. Now if you execute this, it will show the values like in this way. That is, the salary has been doubled. As you can see, the employee Rahul's salary 30,000 has been multiplied and has changed into 60,000, that is doubled. 28,000 has been doubled to 56,000 and so on. So in this way you can apply multiplication operator. And finally, let us look at division operator. Let us take the same example. Suppose, let's say, if you want to divide the salary of each and every employee, then you have to write the query as select ID, name, salary, salary divided by 2 as employee new salary from the table name, that is employee, and put a semicolon. Let us now execute this. And as you can see, their salary has been divided into half. Rahul's salary 30,000 has been changed to 15,000. Kiran's salary 28,000 has been changed to 14,000, and so on. So in this way, you can use arithmetic operations to perform various operations on your table, that is addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. The second type of SQL operators are comparison operators. The comparison operators in SQL compares two different data of SQL tables and check whether they are same, greater, and lesser. The SQL comparison operators are used with the conditional clause where in the SQL queries. They are again further divided into various types. The first one is equal to. SQL equal to operator is one of the popular and most frequently used operators in SQL queries. It shows only that data which matches the specified value in the query. Less than. The less than operator in SQL shows only those data from the database tables which are less than the value of the right hand side operand. Greater than. The greater than operator in SQL shows only those data which are greater than the value of right hand operand. We also have less than equals to and greater than equals to operators as well, which basically shows the data in the tables which are less than and equals to as well as greater than and equals to the value of the right hand operands. Let us look at the syntax and execute them in the workbench. Firstly, let us look at the equal to operator. Let's say if you want to access the records of all those employees who are having salary equals to 40,000. So for that, we'll write the query as select star from the table, that is employee. We have to use the conditional statement where salary is equals to 40,000 and put a semicolon. When you execute this, it will show the records of all those employees who are having salary equals to 40,000. As you can see, it is showing 3 IDs, Pranay, Anusha, and Prem, who are having salaries as 40,000. Next, let us look at not equals to. Not equals to is basically the opposite of equal to, and to understand this, let us take an example. Suppose if we want to access the records of all those employees whose salary is not equals to 35,000. So for that, we'll write the query as select star from the table, that is employee, where let us put the keyword in the uppercase, where salary not equals to 35,000. Let us execute this and let us see the output. So as you can see, it will display the records of all those employees who are not having the salary 35,000. So it will display the records such as Rahul's, Kiran, Pranay, Anusha, Varsha, who are having salaries as 30,000, 28,000, 40,000, 23,000, and so on, which are basically not equals to 35,000. Next, let us look at greater than operator. For this, let us take an example. For instance, if you want to access the records of all those employees from the employee table whose ID is greater than 104. So for that, we'll write the following query as select star from the table, that is employee, where ID greater than 104. Put a semicolon and let us execute this. So as you can see, it will display the records of all those employees who are having ID greater than 104. That is, it will display from 105 and up until 110. Similarly, we have the less than operator as well, which is basically the opposite of greater than operator. For that, we'll take an example such as if you want to display the records of all those employees who are having ID less than 105. So for that, we'll write the query as select star from the table that is employee where ID is less than 105. Let us execute this. So as you can see, it will display all those records of the employees who are having less than 105. That is, it will display the records of the employees 101, 102, 103 and 104 IDs. Next, let us look at greater than equals to. Greater than equals to is also similar to that of greater than, but the thing is we are also mentioning the equal to operator as well. So for instance, let's say if you want to access the records of all those employees in the employee table who are having salary greater than or equals to 40,000. So for that we'll write the query as select star from the table employee where salary greater than equals to 40,000. Let us execute this, and this will be the output. It will show the records of all those employees who are having salary greater than or equals to 40,000. So in this case, it will display a total of 4 records of the employee table. Similarly, let us look at the less than equals to operator as well, which basically uses less than and equal to operator. So suppose if you want to access the records of all those employees from the employee table who's having salary, let's say less than or equals to 30,000. So for that, we'll have to write the following query as select star from employee where salary less than or equals to 30,000. So let us execute this, and the output will be like this. That is, it will display all the employee records who are having salary less than or equals to 30,000. A total of 3 records, that is employee IDs 101, 102, 106 are being displayed because they are having salary as 30,000, 28,000, 23,000, which are basically less than or equals to 30,000. So in this way you can use comparison operator to perform various operations on your data. And finally, we have logical operators. The logical operators in SQL perform Boolean operations which give 2 results, either true or false. These operators provide true value if both operands match the logical condition and vice versa. Various logical operators in SQL are AND, OR, NOT and between. Let us understand their syntaxes and execute them in the workbench now. Firstly, let us discuss about the AND operator. AND operator in SQL will show the records from a database table if all the conditions separated by the AND operator is evaluated to be true. Let us understand with an example. Let's say if you want to access the records of all those employees from the employee table whose salary is greater than 25,000 and the city that they belong to is Hyderabad. So for that we'll write the following query as select star from table name, that is employee, where salary is greater than 25,000 and the city that they belong to is Hyderabad. So when you execute this statement, the following output will be this. That is, it will display the total 3 records of the employees, that is Rahul, Kiran and Chinmay, who are having salaries more than 25,000 and the city that they belong to is Hyderabad. So in this way, AND operator in SQL is used to compare data with more than one condition. If and only if all the conditions return true, then only it will display the records. Otherwise, it won't. Next, let us look at the OR operator. OR operator in SQL shows the records from the table if any of the conditions separated by the OR operator evaluates to be true. Let us understand with an example. For instance, if we want to display the records of employees from the employee table whose salary is greater than 30,000 or the city that they belong to is Bangalore. So the following query would be select star from the table that is employee where salary is less than 30,000 or the city that they belong to is Bangalore. Let us execute this statement now. So this will be the following output where you can see a total of 4 records of the employees followed by Kiran, Pranay, Varsha and Rohit who are having salaries less than 30,000 or else they belong to the city Bangalore. So in this way we can use OR operator which basically compares the data with more than one condition, and unlike AND operator, if either of the condition is true it will return the data, otherwise it won't. Next, let us look at the between operator. Between operator in SQL shows the record within a specified range mentioned in the SQL query. If there is no value in this given range, then this operator shows null value. Suppose if we want to access the information of all the employees from the employee table whose salary is in between 25,000 and 35,000, then we'll write the following query as select star from table name that is employee where salary between 25,000 and 35,000. Let us execute this query now. So following is the output where it will display the records of all those employees who are having salaries in between 25,000 and 35,000. And finally, let us look at the NOT operator. NOT operator in SQL shows the records from the table if the condition evaluates to be false. That means the NOT operator is also called as a negation or a negate operator, which shows data for the opposite of the conditions that we mention in the SQL statement. Let us understand this with the help of an example. Let's say if you want to access the information of all those employees from the table who are not having salary as 40,000. So for that, we'll write the syntax as select star from table name that is employee where not salary equals to 40,000. So let us execute this query now. So as you can see, it will display all the records of those employees who are not having the salary as 40,000. And with that, we have come to the end of today's session. If you want to learn more about SQL operators and other SQL topics in detail with more examples, make sure to check out our complete SQL course 2022 for beginners on our channel. We'll leave the link in the description below. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you guys found this tutorial useful and informative. If you have any further questions regarding any of the topics covered in the tutorial, feel free to let us know in the comment section below, and our team of experts will be more than happy to resolve all your queries. Until next time, stay safe and keep coding.